I don't know. It just turned into a very bad scenario for LGD where they actually overextended.
Yeah, and it carried on and on and on. I mean, you know, this is a highlight clip, but it might as well be half the match in here. There was just so much action going on.
Yeah, and that's the worst scenario you can have happen to you as a team, when you just keep getting more and more kills because of one mistake.
Yeah, just small things making a big difference in these games. Evil Geniuses into the grand final. Let's find out from Casey how PPD's doing.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much. PPD just came in here. Thank you for letting us drag you out after what I know must have been a really challenging couple of games. Fun to watch for us. How did it feel for you as a team?
It was a big win for us. We kind of got stomped yesterday versus, not entirely stomped by CDEC, but we didn't play our best, and we had a couple of, uncharacteristic mistakes. So it was really nice to come out and, play the game that we know how to play.
How are you able to turn that around? Because I know that had to have been rough to go into the evening with all of that weighted on your shoulders. What did you do to help your team turn around?
Well, we've been through it a couple times, and a lot of teams go through it as well. It's all about how you can pick yourself back up, especially in a double elimination tournament like this. You're never out until you lose twice. We just made sure everyone knew that, how lucky we are to be here, and how we're already top 3. That's an amazing accomplishment, and we just need to just do our best, remain optimistic, and don't get down on each other.
It felt like the communication between you guys was especially strong today. Speak a little bit more to that.
It gets a little panicky at times. These are pretty high stakes, and it can be very nerve-wracking. So you just try to keep it as calm as possible. And when it does get crazy, just go with it, and hope things work out, I guess.
So how are you focusing in on the grand finale now? You're going to be up against CDEC, and as you mentioned, really tough 2-0 against you yesterday. What did you learn from those losses that you can implement?
I think we just had a lot of team issues. We haven't really faced too much adversity in this tournament yet, and I think that we'll have a better mindset this time, and I think we can definitely beat them.
A lot of fans in the audience. I'm sure that you could hear them as you came off the stage. What do you want to say to all of them right now?
Thanks for bleeding blue and supporting USA, I guess.
You heard all the USA chants, I'm assuming.
I heard a couple. They were a little quiet. I'm hoping they're louder during the finals.
You can hear them right now. They're going for it again. Thank you so much, PPD. Congratulations. And we will see more from them coming up in just a little bit. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Casey. Thank you to PPD. Congratulations to him. He has made the grand final with his team, Evil Geniuses. I want to speak about LGD for now, as they take a bow out of the tournament with $2.2 million in prize money for finishing third, a new record, of course, in esports. But it's more than that for them. I think I want to talk to you, Winter, in terms of how this will affect Zhao 8, because obviously winning it last year is a great accomplishment, but he wanted to come back and play with his teammates that didn't do it in TI2 when they probably should have done, or he felt they should have done, and it's happened again to them. How does he bounce back from that?
I think the main part that he's coming back was because of his friendship with Yao. We could see in the interviews as well. They are both very good friends. They know each other for 5 to 6 years. They started in the LGD team at TI2. They didn't quite make it in the end and came back, tried to help him. I think he would be feeling more disappointed that he actually let Yao down. But, I mean, they still did really well in the event.
Yeah, they did fantastically well. Great in the group stage and great through the upper bracket as well. We're going to look forward to the grand final very shortly, of course. We've got a little break. I should explain, of course, that the players from the third place game, the lower bracket final, my mistake, do get an hour's break in between now and the grand final. So don't worry too much. If you've got anything else to do, don't worry. You can go and do that now. You can go and grab your cups of tea or whatever it is you do. I'm not quite sure what they do outside of England. A cup of tea is obviously for me. But gentlemen, it does allow us to talk a little bit more about the two teams. Evil Geniuses, sum up for me, if you can, Merlini, and what a great achievement this is just to get to the final.
I mean, again, PPD really delivered with this draft, I think, especially in game number 1. And, I mean, even throughout the group stage, utilizing techies without the Tusk is something that we haven't seen any other team do. And then they're in this really difficult position, LGD is, when they're second pick. It's like, okay, do we give away the Leshrac, do we give away the Naga, or do we give away the techies? And it's the same story that CDEC is going to face. So I think they've demonstrated some incredible versatility and very good discipline. We always talk about LGD's discipline, but they showed some uncharacteristic, chasing up that high ground and, chain feeding. This something that we almost never see from them. We see, their stable rosters, their stable picks, and I'm just really surprised to see LGD go out in this fashion.
Okay. Winter?
For EG, I think the second game, the draft around Leshrac, and we compare to yesterday where LGD gave Leshrac to Virtus Pro, and we felt like they didn't really build a lineup around the Leshrac as well as what EG did this game. They had were Wyvern and Clockwork, which is missing from what they had in the VP game. They built around, they didn't build a damage hero, they built Queen of Pain plus Lash, and they didn't have defensive heroes for the Lash Rock. Like PBD just built a very good lineup to protect and to make sure that there's another damage source of coming in after you are focusing the Lash.
You two, you went with Evil Geniuses. You were right. These guys were rubbish, obviously. They're going with LGD because they got there completely wrong. So do you want to say anything to these guys? Do you want to step up their game for the final?
I want to say that I actually expected a third game from that game, because when you saw how the early game was going, how they secured a lot for the mid lane, they got 2 really good ganks onto Sumail in the beginning, and still he managed to recover. So that's a strong sign that EG are capable of dealing with, you know, hardships in the game, and I think that's a good sign for a grand finals.
Okay, Seb?
I felt like EG had the better draft in that second game. I think it's one of the best drafts I've seen, at least to my understanding, in that tournament. They had everything. They had magical damage, physical damage. They had a lot of control for the SF. As you said, it was a perfect Leshrac lineup. I don't think there are other lineups that you can run, obviously, but you have, you know, that heavy, that carry that can actually, like, Klinks really benefits from the space Leshrac gave him in the fights. We even saw it. Like, they blow everything to kill the Leshrac, and they have to. And then Klinks just clears everyone else. They have defensive supports. Just great drafting, great plays by EG. LGD did put up a good fight, I agree, but I felt like EG were in control the whole game and the whole series.
They meshed really well, the Leshrac and the Klinks. I just want to go into what you said there, because Klinks has so much single target physical damage and very quickly, whereas the Leshrac, he has all the AoE magic damage that you could ask for and some pushing power as well. So combine that with a Desolator, it is a really good combination between the two.
Okay, so EG obviously going through to the grand final now, of course, and they'll play CDEC. We will be seeing that a little bit later on, and we do have a little bit more time, and that's good news. If you haven't been able to tune in for the entire international matches that we've had since day one on Monday, well, don't worry too much, because we've got plenty to talk about over the next hour or so. We'll start our replays now, reviews of exactly what's happened at the International 5, with a look back at day one, where the champions fell.
I came here to watch some Dota.
Let's get TI5 underway. The first game here on the main stage. But he's blocked inside the 3 line. 3-0 down. LGD ripping apart Empire. Empire will get a triple kill and wiping the entire side of LGD from the face of the earth. The Russians have hope here against LGD, forcing to a game 3. The only one up is buyback is Selena, and that's it, GG. LGD will advance themselves forward to the semi-finals, knocking Team Empire into the lower bracket.
Now the corner on 2. What a winter's curse from Q. Demolishes 2 more. C-Deck rampaging through the Cloud9 side of the map. Looking for Misery. Pow, right in the Kitsa. And then denied even that 1 kill. Denied to Cloud9. The Wisp is dead. He's trapped. He's down. Thought neck. C-Deck just rampaging forward. Wildcard team, no longer. This team has a shot at going deep if they can keep it up.
Welcome to the first elimination match of this year's International. Newbie, the defending champions, up against a team that's climbed themselves through the wildcard. Oh! This is able to blink himself away. Now Drew's in trouble. They're turning it around. They're looking for Moo here as well. Their race might just save it for the time. No! He goes down another depth for a drop down. Drew does his GG. Newbie are out. The defending champions defeated in the first stage of the elimination matches. He's going to just get evaporated then.
Navi running out of time.
Okay, looking for
fight. If it goes wrong for Fnatic, they may never have the opportunity to come back. Catching him, but goes for the ultimate echo slam, interrupts. Catching him, he's going to be blown up before he gets anything off. Ohio's next up, and there it is. Fnatic call it. Their opportunities here at the International come to a close as Virtus Pro take them out in this best-of-1 elimination match. Let's hear some noise for the last elimination match of the night. Chuan, he's going to find it. Heen trying to go for the TP out, but immediately blink in from Chuan plus the telekinesis stop, and it's just inevitable at this point. Now Stumpy's going to be targeted as far as just jumps forward, and there it is before the fight's even done. GG is called from MVP Hot 6. They knew this one was over for a while. So IG skate on to day number 2.
And that was day 1. It seems like an absolute eternity ago. I don't know about how you guys. The 6 days have just sort of flown by. It's all sort of blurred into one. But it was a nice way of going back to day 1. Interesting that we lost 2 of the previous champions, Merlini. Nubi gone and Na'Vi out. I don't think there was a terrible surprise that they went out at that particular point in the tournament, but it was still disappointing.
Yeah, no, I mean, they just performed very weakly during the group stages. We had higher hopes for them, but, I mean, throughout the entire year, they've been disappointing, honestly.
Yeah. Maybe with the changes, Winter, they weren't likely to be winners again, but we might have thought they might have gone a bit better than they did. Yeah,
I personally had more expectations on them based on how the group went. They had a lot of draws, and they could have won a lot of the draws into 2-0, so I had more expectations on them, and it was just not to be.
Yeah, and Fnatic as well, Wagger. Largely disappointing, despite the fact that they showed flashes of brilliance, actually, in the group stage.
They were just inconsistent, I think. They had some games where they played really good, as you said, and then some games where it didn't work. And you could also tell by their change on who plays which position that they weren't comfortable with the way things were going.
Yeah, it was also the start of the Vici Gaming train, captained by Wagger from the very first moment, I think, as well. In the end, it came to an end for them, and they finished 4th. But this was the start. Day 1 was the start of them going, OK, group stages were rubbish, we were terrible, let's refocus. I think, Winter, I remember you saying that you saw something in them change after they won that opening game on day 1.
Yeah, I was I saw them during in the bus, and when they were eating, they were talking to each other more. And during the group stages, they were really flat out disappointed in the performance. They weren't really talking too much. So I felt that was a really big sign that a team was going to come back in the event.
Did they, am I right in thinking they also changed who was drafting as well from groups to main? Maybe not? I don't know. I can't remember now.
No, I don't think so. I think FY was drafting all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. But Seb, what did you think day 1 when we came in, and what were you expecting from day 1, and what changed your mind?
It feels better now, right? But I'm still disappointed that Nevi dropped out.
Yes.
So after 6 days, I'm starting to...
You're starting to mend?
Yeah.
You're on the mend?
Bit by bit. Okay. But I think we had a lot of... surprises, but a day like this will always be a tough day for any Dota fan because 4 teams, at the end of the day, they're going to be disqualified. I don't think we had big surprise that day. I mean, obviously Nubi was a surprise, but we all felt like it could be a possibility because, as we said, they've been underperforming a lot. Then Na'Vi, obviously, it was a bit 50-50 with Vici Gaming, but I don't think they were the favorite either. As for IG, I had a good feeling after watching IG play. I thought they were the favorites, but that game in particular, they did super well. It was a dominating performance, and it showed after that they could bounce back a bit. Yeah. But unfortunately for them, they couldn't make it far enough.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll get more thoughts from you when we move through to day 2. But first, here's a perfect way of wrapping up day 1 with the top 3 plays.
Do it fairly quickly with the damage and the crits from KP, but I'm sure Nubi will want to contest.
This is very good placement for the healing ward. The least likely cliff to be checked by the Wyvern.
Moving in with the Arctic Burn. He's got the Winter's Curse available. He's gonna use it straight away now with the jump in here from Moo. The damage to the side blades. Look at the side blades going now. Jude with a hook shot, trying to disrupt on the fight, keeping Nox and Femi out of it. Sansheng and Moo they're getting on QS not too much here with the Rig Grim and the Wyvern out click. Sansheng, you can't fly away with that. Oh, Banana with the biggest figure of his life, taking a kill and return. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Starting away from Rabbit, clicks Q and Femi. Femi getting us south. Q going north. Q's going to try and chase this one down. Q is going to look to the left again. No, he's going for the team. He gets himself out. He gets himself out, which means that MVP take that trade there. 3 for 2.
So this wave actually is going to provide them with and it's peak 36 armor for the entire team for that last second. They're going to precast it.
Such a hard defense for Na'Vi.